everyone, it's Anna. I'm the children's librarian at the Goldsboro Library, and I'm back again for another week of summer reading for tips for parents of babies and small toddlers on how to enhance their literacy experiences at home. So, thus far, we've talked about reading and we've talked about singing. So, this week, we're going to talk about playing, and we play all the time. Playing is so much fun, but it's also really important. So, even if your child is very small and maybe can't talk yet, or maybe can't really play independently yet, or maybe can't even sit up by themselves yet, there's things that you can do to play with them and to help them make those connections with their world and build their vocabularies that we've been talking about so far this summer. So, play is actually very important for your child's future success as a good reader. There's a pretty famous quote by Maria Montessori that says, "Play is the work of the child." And then Mr. Rogers, who we all know and love, said that play is often talked about as if it were a relief from serious learning. But for children, play is serious learning. So there are lots of skills that children develop through play, which are important for many different things in their lives. So I have a list I'm gonna read to you. So through play, we can learn how our bodies move if we're running or jumping or playing games like leapfrog or things like that. We can build strength in different muscles in our bodies. We can develop gross and fine motor skills. So if you're running around and skating or playing or jumping, or if you're doing something with your fingers really small, like playing with Play-Doh or playing with little dolls, it can develop different skills in different parts of your body. Problem solving, if you're playing a game with friends. Sharing is very important for us to learn how to do. You do that through play. Hand-eye coordination, if you're throwing a ball, you can develop those kinds of skills. One of the first ones that we develop through play is cause and effect, understanding cause and effect. So if a very small baby is playing with, say, a rattle, eventually, they're trying to figure it out. What does this thing do? But eventually, they kind of figure out, oh, if I move my arm and I'm touching this thing, this noise will happen. So cause and effect. Another one that they learn pretty early is object permanence. So if you're playing peekaboo with your very small child, um, mm, they eventually figure out that even though they can't see your face is still there. So object permanence is a pretty important thing as well. And communication skills. So if you're playing with friends or if you're playing with your parents, you have to learn how to talk to them, to ask for what you want, or to get them to be in a game with you. So those are a lot of different skills that are very important that children develop through play. Another thing that we've kind of been talking about over the course of the past few weeks is giving your child new words for things that they're doing. Small children maybe they aren't talking yet, but they can still understand some things that you say to them. So using more words while you're interacting with them gives them words to connect with the things that they see, and it builds up their vocabularies for when they start talking and start reading. They'll know what things are called, but it also gives them connections to the world that they live in. So if you're playing with your child, you can say, "Oh, I see you're playing with the orange ball." Now they have a word for what they're playing with. They're not just picking up this thing that they don't know what it is. They know what it looks like, but they may not know what it's called. But now they have the words for that. So that's really important as well. A thing that we do at Storytime at the library that I think is really fun, and it kind of also kind of goes back to what we talked about last week with singing, is bouncing. So we do this a lot in our baby and small toddler story times. So bounces are, some of them are songs, but a lot of them are rhymes or chants. And it lets the child feel the rhythm of language with their whole body. So I'm going to do an example in just a second. But if you are holding your child close and doing a little rhyme, and then you bounce them up and down on your knee, or you hold them up, or you drop them down, it kind of it lets them feel like the rhythm of what you're saying, and so they can kind of get used to your inflection and how language works and how sentences work and things like that. Plus, it's fun. It goes back to what we talked about the first week with story time and holding your children close. If you're holding them and doing these little fun things while you're playing, it not only helps you guys bond, but it also helps them feel safe, and it gives them a chance to develop more of that physical relationship with their world and with other people, and positive emotional development as well. So if you do a bounce, you're having fun, feeling close, associating play with positive, good things. So that's great. You can do a bounce for anything. You can make up words to whatever. You can pick some that go along with maybe what you're playing with or a book that you've read. There are a ton of bounces that have to do with horses, I guess because you move your whole body when you're riding a horse. But there's ones about food and body parts and things like that. So I'm going to do a couple with my helper, Roosevelt here, my puppy. I will say that the movements you do during a bounce change depending on the age of your child. So the bounces that I do with my toddler would be very different than the ones you would do with like a newborn. So just be sure that your child feels supported and comfortable and safe. And then we'll all have a good time. Roosevelt doesn't care very much what I do. So, so the first one that we're going to do is called a smooth road. And I think we have the words to this in your packet. So there's a lot of examples of different bounces included in your packet if you got one. But there's a ton online that you can look at as well. So this one is called a smooth road. So it gives you words not only for, if you're riding in the car and you hit a pothole, or, you're going along smoothly. So it gives you a lot of different words, and they kind of can feel what those words mean. So here we go. All right, we're going along. We're on a smooth road, a smooth road, a smooth road, a smooth road, a smooth road. Getting a little bumpy. A bumpy road, a bumpy road, a bumpy road, a bumpy road. I think we're going off the road onto a dirt path, so we're on a rough road next. So a rough road, a rough road, a rough road, a rough road, a hole. So you can see there's different ways that we move during that bounce. We learned the words for smooth, bumpy, and rough, and they fell in a hole. So babies and small kids really like when you do these bounces. They like when you drop them down or lift them up. So there's lots of different movements that you can do with these rhymes. Another one that you can do, they don't even really have to sit with you, but you can get like a shaker egg. We do a lot with shaker eggs at story time, but you can make your own shaker eggs as well. If you have like those plastic Easter eggs, you can put beans inside or rice. We've done that before to make maracas. So it's pretty easy with stuff you have at home. So here's another one that we like to do when we're walking around outside. You can say, ride, baby, ride. Ride that horsey, ride. Ride, baby, ride. Ride that horsey, ride. Whoa! All right, so they can sing along if they want, but I have an almost 2-year-old, and she likes to do the part, so you can even do it if you don't have a shaker egg. So these are kind of easy things that you can do at home when you're playing with your children. So they're developing all kinds of skills. We're not just having fun. We learn how language works. We learn new words. We learn what our toys are called. We learn how to play games with each other. We develop different parts of our bodies and our brains. So playing is super important for your future success as a reader, and it helps develop lots of other skills as well that you'll need when you go to school. All right, so we will see you next week. Thanks.